It's 5 a.m., and while most of the Roman Empire sleeps, the most powerful man in the world sits alone with his thoughts, struggling to get out of bed. He's tired. He'd rather stay warm under the covers, but instead of hitting snooze on his ancient alarm clock, he begins talking to himself.
At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work. As a human being, what do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?
This wasn't your average motivational speaker. This was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, arguably the most powerful person who ever lived. And yet here he was, having the same morning struggle you probably had today. But here's what makes this fascinating. The routine that helped him rule the largest empire in history, survive plagues, lead armies, and remain one of history's most respected leaders, modern science has proven it works. Not just for emperors, but for anyone trying to build a better life. The journal entries he wrote during those early morning sessions became one of the most influential self-help books ever written. And the practices he used? They're now the foundation of modern psychotherapy. What if the secret to unlocking your potential has been sitting on philosophers' shelves for 1,800 years? Let's step into Marcus's world for a moment. Imagine waking up as the ruler of 65 million people, with constant threats of war, plague ravaging your cities, and political intrigue lurking in every corner. Your decisions could save or doom millions. Yet Marcus didn't begin his days by immediately diving into imperial business. Instead, he followed a deceptively simple routine that modern research now shows was psychologically brilliant. Marcus was, by his own admission, not a morning person. But he understood something crucial. How you start your day determines everything that follows. He would literally argue with himself to get out of bed using what we now call cognitive reframing.
Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can, and you're not willing to do your job as a human being?
This wasn't toxic positivity. This was strategic self-talk designed to align his actions with his deeper values. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Marcus was essentially performing what cognitive behavioral therapists now call cognitive restructuring, challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with more helpful ones. Before dealing with senators, generals, or any imperial business, Marcus would write. Not letters or decrees, but private reflections, what he called notes to himself. These weren't feel-good affirmations. They were tough, honest conversations with his own mind. He'd prepare himself for the day ahead.
When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly.
This sounds pessimistic, but it was actually a psychological inoculation technique. By mentally rehearsing challenges before they happened, he was building what psychologists now call emotional resilience. He was literally training his brain to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Modern entrepreneur Tim Ferriss, who has studied the routines of hundreds of successful people, notes, "The quality of your morning routine determines the quality of your entire day." Marcus used his morning time to reconnect with what he called his ruling reason, his core values and long-term goals. He'd remind himself what really mattered beyond the chaos of daily responsibilities.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
This wasn't philosophical mumbo-jumbo. This was an ancient version of what researchers now call goal priming, a technique proven to improve focus and decision-making throughout the day. But here's what's remarkable. Marcus was essentially performing a form of therapy on himself, using techniques that wouldn't be discovered by modern psychology for another 1,800 years. Now, you might be thinking, that's nice, but I'm not running an empire. Does this actually work for regular people? The answer is a resounding yes. And we don't have to take the word of ancient philosophers for it. Modern neuroscience and psychology have put Marcus's practices under the microscope, and the results are extraordinary. Remember those morning journal sessions? Researchers have now studied the psychological impact of expressive writing extensively. A 2022 meta-analysis of multiple studies found that regular journaling can, reduce anxiety and depression symptoms by up to 25%, improve working memory and cognitive function, boost immune system functioning, decrease stress hormones like cortisol, enhance emotional regulation. Dr. James Pennebaker's groundbreaking research at the University of Texas showed that people who wrote about their deepest thoughts and feelings for just 15 to 20 minutes a day experienced measurable improvements in both physical and mental health. Participants took fewer sick days, reported better mood, and showed improved immune markers. As Pennebaker himself noted, writing about emotional experiences can be likened to having a conversation with a wise and understanding friend. But what is the most effective form of journaling? The exact type Marcus was doing, honest self-reflection combined with problem-solving and goal-setting. Marcus's insistence on starting the day with reflection wasn't just personal preference, it was neurologically optimal. Modern sleep research has revealed that your brain cleans itself while you sleep. During sleep, your brain's glymphatic system flushes out toxins and consolidates memories. When you wake up, you have what researchers call peak cognitive resources. Your willpower, creativity, and decision-making abilities are at their highest. Neuroscientist Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, explains, "Sleep is the single most effective thing we can do to reset our brain and body health each day." A 2019 study published in Behavioral Brain Research found that people who engaged in brief morning reflection showed enhanced attention and working memory, improved emotional regulation, decreased anxiety throughout the day, better goal achievement rates. Here's where it gets really interesting. Those Stoic techniques Marcus was using, they're now the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT in short, one of the most effective forms of psychotherapy ever developed. Albert Ellis, the founder of rational emotive behavior therapy, explicitly credited the Stoics as his inspiration, stating, "The Stoics taught us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those events." Aaron Beck, creator of CBT, quoted Marcus Aurelius in his foundational textbook. "The core insight is identical. Our emotions are largely determined by our thoughts, and by changing our thinking patterns, we can change our emotional experience." Modern research has validated this approach thousands of times over. CBT is now the gold standard treatment for anxiety, depression, and numerous other mental health conditions, with success rates often exceeding 70%. Marcus's practice of attention to the present moment was essentially mindfulness meditation before we had that term. He would regularly remind himself to focus on what was happening right now, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. "Confine yourself to the present," he wrote. This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's a core principle of every evidence-based mindfulness intervention. John Kabat-Zinn, who brought mindfulness to Western medicine, defines it as paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. A landmark 2018 study following 36 non-experienced meditators found that just 8 weeks of brief daily meditation significantly improved attention and focus, working memory, emotional regulation, stress resilience, and overall mood. The participants meditated for only 13 minutes per day. And Marcus was essentially doing a form of this practice 2,000 years ago. So how do you actually implement this ancient wisdom in your modern life? You don't need to wake up at dawn or rule an empire, but you can adopt the core principles that made Marcus's routine so effective. Start small. Marcus spent considerable time on his morning practice, but research shows you can get significant benefits with just 5 to 10 minutes. Here's a modern adaptation. The first 1 to 2 minutes. Instead of immediately checking your phone or jumping into your day, spend 2 minutes doing what Marcus did, having an honest conversation with yourself about getting started. Acknowledge any resistance you're feeling, then remind yourself why today matters. I might feel tired, but I have important work to do as a human being. What kind of person do I want to be today? Then, the next 2 minutes, like Marcus, prepare yourself mentally for the day ahead, but make it realistic, not pessimistic. Think about potential challenges and how you want to respond to them. This isn't worrying, it's strategic emotional preparation. What challenges might I face today? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? Then, final 2 minutes, end by reconnecting with your deeper goals and values. What really matters beyond just getting through your to-do list? What's most important for me to focus on today? How can my work today contribute to the kind of life I want to build? If you want to go deeper, research suggests these additions can amplify the benefits. Gratitude integration. Marcus regularly practiced what we now call gratitude journaling. A 2015 study found that writing down 3 things you're grateful for each morning can increase happiness levels by 25% within a few weeks. Implementation intentions. Marcus would often write specific if-then plans for handling difficult situations. Modern research calls these implementation intentions, and they can double your likelihood of achieving goals. The evening reflection. Marcus also practiced an evening review, examining his actions and decisions from the day. The key isn't perfection, it's progression and consistency. Marcus missed days too. What matters is building a practice you can maintain over time. Start with just the 5-minute version. Do it for a week, notice how you feel. Then, gradually expand if you want to. Marcus faced plagues, wars, and political upheaval. You face different challenges: information overload, decision fatigue, constant connectivity, and the pressure to optimize every moment of your life. We're approximately 1800 years apart, but the fundamental human struggles remain the same. How do we find meaning in difficulty? How do we stay focused on what matters? How do we maintain our values when the world feels chaotic? Marcus's routine provided him with a daily anchor, a consistent practice that connected him with his deepest values and prepared him to face whatever the day might bring. Like Marcus, you are ruling over an empire. That empire is your life. And, like Marcus discovered, how you begin each day determines not just your productivity, but the kind of person you become. Commit to progress rather than perfection. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need hours of free time. You just need the willingness to begin your day intentionally, the way Marcus did, not by immediately reacting to the world's demands, but by first connecting with your own mind and values. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." As Marcus wrote in his private journal, never intended for publication, "When you wake up in the morning, remember what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Start tomorrow. Give yourself 5 minutes. See what happens when you begin your day like an emperor of your life. Your empire, your life, your relationships, your work is waiting for its ruler to show up. And remember Gandhi's timeless wisdom: be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with how you begin each day.